The Sabbath school lesson, y'all. Listen, we're going to have some fun because this going to give you a third-year law school student look at some things that are in the Bible and part of what we believe. So if you have your lesson, tell me if anybody knows what the title of this week's lesson is. Huh? Can't hear you. The covenant. Now, tell me what a covenant is. What is a covenant? You gave two things. Agreement, contract. What else? Ten Commandments. Yeah, but let's keep it non-scriptural first. A covenant is agreement, contract, you said, right? What else? Huh? It's between more than one party, right? But what is that? What is that? If it's between two parties, you're right there. We got contract. We got, what else did you say? Agreement, understanding. What else? Promise. Those are the three elements. Those are the three elements. The covenant has contract, it has agreement, it has promise, right? Now, let's look at that. First of all, can you have a covenant that somebody has been forced into? Nope. The idea is for it to be a valid covenant, it has to be something that was done voluntarily. You know, one of my favorite movies, Lord, forgive me. It's The Godfather. I'm sorry. Lord, just forgive me. There's a scene where they said, well, the lady is asking Michael, well, how'd your father get the guy out of his contract? How'd he get him into the contract or get him out the contract? And he said, my father made him an offer he couldn't refuse. Well, what did he do? My father had the band leader and he had the document and he his friend Luca Brazzi put a gun to his head and said, either your signature is going to be on this contract or your brains. Is that a valid contract? Why? It was forced. It was coerced, right? So part of it in the agreement is if we're going to have a covenant, it has to be something we voluntarily agreed to, right? Now, how many people have bought a house before? Bought a house. Did y'all read the deed closely? Did you see a term that said, the covenants run with the land? Voice coming from Sinai. Y'all didn't read that? See, y'all need to be reading these deeds. It says the covenants run with the land. That when you buy that property, you got to understand what that represents. Because it says the covenants run with the land, which means it don't matter who you sell it to. They're not just buying the property, they're buying the promises that are made, that are attached not to the owner, it's attached to the land, right? From generation to generation, from owner to owner, the covenant runs with the land. So you take, for example, a covenant that you would have in a deed, for example, could be an easement. You know that you don't have the right to refuse PECO from coming on your property to take care of electrical lines. You know that, right? You ain't coming on my land. I'm going to call the police. I'm going to charge you with trespass. Why can you not do that? You own the land, but the covenant, there are easements that allow access to your property. They can't just come inside your house, but they can come on your land. And if they need to change some box inside your house, you got to let them do it, right? There could be a road that comes through your property that the other people that live behind you can't get to their property unless they cross over your property. That's a covenant that would run with the land, right? So when we read this and it says, then the Lord said to Moses, thus you shall say to the children of Israel, you have seen that I have talked with you. Oh, no, I'm reading the wrong text. I'm sorry. That was this week coming. Hold on. How do I go backwards? Wait. Oh, here it is. Previous. Okay. All right. So it says, you have seen what I did to the Egyptians and how I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Now, therefore, if you will indeed obey my voice and keep my covenant, then ye shall be special treasure to me above all people, for all earth is mine, and ye shall be to me a kingdom of priests and holy nation. First of all, what is he doing with this first text? He says, you have seen what I did to the Egyptians. What is he doing? He's reminding them why.
Who he is and what he done.
Why? Why is he saying this?
To know
oh, come on.
To know who you're getting into the covenant with. To understand who you're getting into
All right.
with.
So close. So we all do it. If you're a parent, you've done this before. If your child questions you when you've made a new promise to them, do you not get indignant a little bit? Hey, hold on, son. Don't you know who I am? How do you think you got clothes on your back right now? Who you think paid for that car you drive every day? Who do you think? Wait a minute, hold a sec. How do you think you eat? Chris Rock did this routine where he said, ain't nobody coming to daddy say, Daddy, thank you for all this light you keep in the house so I can do my own work. We do stuff that we don't get no credit for, right? So God is establishing his credibility. He's reminding them, hey, hold on. If we got an agreement and a covenant, you need to really remember, I've already come through for you before. Is that correct? Oh, I delivered you before. I took you out of situations that you didn't know what to do. Did I not come through? My son, if he come to me with some question, don't question me. Because of me, you graduated from college with no student loans. I don't want to ever hear anything from you again. If I never do another thing for you, I got some credibility. Don't question me if I say I'm going to be there at 10 o'clock, if I say I'm going to be there at 10 o'clock. So here he is, he's reminding them of this. And then he says, if you will indeed obey my voice and keep my covenant, then you will be a treasure to me above, for all earth is mine, and ye shall be to me a kingdom of priests and holy people. Now remember, we said the covenant runs with the land, right? It doesn't matter who the new owner is, right? So it doesn't matter from generation to generation. I made my covenant with your daddy, and because I made my covenant will run with the land. As long as the earth exists, my covenant will run with the land. This is powerful. This is powerful, right? He's making it clear that when you have a covenant. Now, when you look at that and you look at that next, battery's going dead. Wait a minute. At Mount Sinai. So when we read that, it says, and God led the Israelites and gave Moses the law. He's out Mount Sinai, right? Do you think that we all have a Mount Sinai moment? What would that mean to you? What happened at Mount Sinai?
God made himself known in a very particular way of who is his power.
Did he have a conversation with Moses?
Sure.
You have exchange? Was it him and Moses? Right? So Jesus himself had a habit of praying in the morning in his own worship, in the evening in his own worship. Moses is here having a relationship with God, just the two of them. If they have that experience, do you think you need your own experience too? Right? Where we have that time, where we're connecting with God on our own, in our way, in our own Mount Sinai moment, where he's sharing with us and we're sharing with him. Do you know every time you get on your knees is your opportunity to share with the Lord? And you need that time where you can just have that time with you and your worship. See, if we have a family and we have a home and we don't have worship in that home, it's a problem. We're denying our children and the folks that are important to us an opportunity to see modeled for them the importance of having a relationship with God. I don't care how old you are. Married, honey, do you mind if I got one little text I'm going to read, just take a couple of minutes and then we're going to pray. Even if it's something as simple as that. But when you get in your own moment, now we got to have our Mount Sinai moment. Now from that Mount Sinai moment, God is delivering his commandments. Is that true? Does Sunday say there's a gift? What's Sunday's lesson say? Anybody got a lesson? Because my phone just went dead. What's the header of Sunday? Oh, with Monday. Give me Monday. Okay. Preparing for the gift. So let's talk about a gift. What is a gift? What's a gift? Is that a gift? So we'll say it again.
An exchange between two people.
That's interesting. She said exchange. How many agree that that's a gift?
Depends on the phone he's using.
A gift.
Hold on.
Look, he used the word in the word, right? A gift is given. Okay, so let me take that. Let's say I come over there and I give you a slap in the face. Is that a gift? And if it was an exchange, it ain't no gift. That's called a fight. Right? So part of it, you said something given, but is it just something given? Because I just said if I came over and slapped you in the face, you wouldn't consider that a gift. What would you consider that? An insult. He said an act of violence. Right. So you had your hand up. So what is a gift?
On that point that you just made right there about the slap in the face, I look at it as, okay, the slap in the face is not the gift, but the gift to me would be, on my part, a blessing from God, because that gives me the opportunity to not respond to it.
Okay. That's a very mature and very developed view. Me, I'm looking for a very simple gift. One that doesn't involve pain. Right? So here's what I want you to do. Somebody look up on your phone legal definition of gift, and you go ahead and answer while somebody looks this up. Put legal definition of gift. Go ahead.
So something that is given freely that you want.
So it's a gift is given freely, right? And it's got to be something really that a person would want. Is that true? Kinda, right? Are you going to accept a gift from me if you don't want it? If you don't want it, let's say I come to your house. Here, we'll use this example. You invited me to your house and I did not like your couch. I just didn't like your couch. So I buy you another couch. And I say, here's a gift to you. I got you a new couch because I don't like that one that you have. How many accept my gift? You would.
Amen.
You would. You would. How many would say, how dare you think you can give me a couch when my mama bought me that couch? you know, would everybody look at that as a gift, right? Some might not, right? So when we look at it, he said the words, what'd you say, freely? Given freely that you want. You said something given, right? Who looked up legal definition of who's got it? Something, no, that's not a legal definition. That's a Merriam-Webster's dictionary. Put in the word legal definition. You can put Black's letter law if you want to. That's the dictionary the law firms use. So no, let's not go with just that. That gives a lot, but put in the word legal definition.
In law, a gift is the voluntary, gratuitous transfer of property from a donor to a donee without any consideration or compensation.
Without any consideration. Say that again.
Without any consideration or compensation.
Without any consideration or compensation. So is there exchange? No. There's no exchange, right? So let's look at this. So if I'm giving you something, did you pull it up? They didn't have it.
It's on my phone.
You can't,
I can pull it up.
Yeah, pull it up so they can see it. So if it's a gift, it's given voluntarily, which is freely, right? It's some kind of property or something of value that is given to somebody else without consideration. Now, when we say consideration, do we mean, oh, that was thoughtful of you? No, that compensation. Like you didn't have to give me something else for it. You didn't have to trade me for it. You didn't have to. This is a gift I'm giving you, which, what you got? Voluntary transfer of property from one person to another without expectation of receiving something in return. You know what I hate? This is just a church thing. This has never happened at Macedonia. Let me just give a caveat. You got volunteers that want to help in some church project. But then after the volunteers help, are we going to get something? Aren't you going to give us a gratuity? A little thank you? I heard one time, one church, the guy said, look, I'm going to do this work for free for the church. After the guy does the work for free for the church, he then said, well, are y'all going to give me a gratuity? The church gives him a gratuity. Then he said, yeah, but I'm now going to have to pay taxes on that. Can you give me the money to pay the taxes?
What is happening?
Did he give a gift to the church? No, that ain't no gift. Why? Because there was an exchange. He had an expectation of an exchange. Not just get the exchange, you gonna give me enough money to cover the tax? What? Right? So we got voluntary transfer. Now, legally also, for the gift to be valid, you said part of it, something you want. So if I give you something, or I'm in the act of giving you something, what do you have to do? Accept it, right? If not, I just attempted to give you a gift. You have to accept the gift. If you accept the gift, then I have transferred this thing to you and you've accepted it. Do you know, like if somebody dies and let's say they were trying to give you something before they died and they promised that they were giving this to you, but there's been no transfer and acceptance, that promise dies when they dead. If it's not in the will, or there's some other non-probate situation that was signed, if that gift, I'm giving you, when I die, I'm gonna give you my Mercedes. Or they'll say, I'm giving you my Mercedes, but it's still sitting in their garage. They die, that ain't no gift, because there was no transfer and acceptance. Now, what the law has figured out, though, is if I gave you the keys, even if the car is still sitting in my garage, I gave you the means to access the gift, right? So if I gave you the keys, they consider that now a transfer. You now, I've successfully transferred the gift to you because you have access. And if somebody wants to protest it, hey, he gave that to me in the will. The BMW's in the will. No, he gave it to me inter vivos. Oh, I threw some Latin on you. He gave it to you intra vivos. I saw your hand up. Will you get ready to say something?
Yes, I see on the screen it says acceptance. The donee must accept the gift. Acceptance is usually presumed unless the donee explicitly refuses it.
Yeah.
How many people explicitly refuse God's gift?
Well, this is the point we're getting to. See, he's jumping ahead. He's an overachiever. He's an overachiever. He's moved ahead, right? So we're looking at an inter vivos gift as a gift given while alive, which means the transfer took place. That's not the gift that Christ gave us. He gave us the gift of his life. Is that correct? Is that correct? And he gave us covenants. We already said a covenant is a promise. It's a contract. It was given freely, voluntarily. It's an agreement, right? So when you pick up a Bible, your Bible says New Testament and Old Testament. Is that correct? Now, if I put together a will, what is the full name of a will? The last will and testament, right? A testament is the collection of the covenants that are being promised to be handed down or transferred over upon my death, right? Now, if I wrote a will and I've given these covenants in my will and testament that you will receive this thing while I'm alive, you ain't got nothing. Why? Because I'm alive. I can change that will anytime I want to, right? What has to happen for the testament to have power? Whose death?
The donor?
The testator, me, the person that's saying, hey, this is my promises, this is my covenant, right? But Paul says it in Hebrews chapter 11. The testament has no power until the death of the testator, right? So all those covenants that were put in the Bible, all of the covenants, all of the promises have no power until the death of the testator, which is why Jesus, at that first communion, he says, this is the blood of my new what? What word did he use? Testament. He said, this is the blood of my New Testament. All of the covenants, see, a covenant is a covenant. A testament is a collection of the covenants. It's a collection of the promises. I may have promised you my BMW. Wish I had one. Don't have one. So if I had one, I promised you my house. You don't want it? I promised you my watch. I don't really wear one, but if I have one, it's yours, right? Y'all don't get nothing until I die, right? Now, if I had an old covenant and now I have a new covenant, right? What Jesus did is said, I'm taking the Old Testament, bringing it forward, and I'm enlarging it into my New Testament. So you don't have to be the lineage of Abraham. You just have to have the faith of Abraham. Right? So he gave the gift unconditionally, right? But for you to benefit from the gift, you got to meet some conditions. Is that true or not? He died unconditionally, but for you to benefit from the unconditional gift, you have to meet conditions. This lesson says, if my people keep my covenant and obey my voice, right? Then you will be, listen, he even said you're of more value when you keep. So let's look at this. Say you got something of value, right? Do you know one way that you can now make that thing not have any value? Take the screws off the back of it. Doesn't it have a warranty? And it'll say if you do anything to tamper with this, right? So when something goes wrong, if it's under warranty, don't try to fix it. Take it to them. Because if you try to fix it on your own, they're going to say, oh, you messed this up. You voided the warranty and they put little warning labels on it, right? They put little warning labels on it. So if you want to have it covered, right, under the promise, under the covenant of the warranty, you got to handle that thing right. So if you are, and you do, there's something else that can make it more valuable too. So my uncle has this rifle that was made in like 1886 or something like that, right? And so he wanted me to try to help him sell it. So one of the things they wanted to make sure was that it had not been modified in any way, right? But then we had a family legend. It was a story that went with it. It was how we got the rifle. And so the legend is my great-grandmother was sitting on her porch, and this famous outlaw was trying to escape the authorities. He hid under her porch. And when the authorities came looking for him, they couldn't find him. And then he left and said he would come back for the rifle, and he never did. So for a while, the family thought it was Jesse James, but I disproved that because of when it was created and when Jesse James died. But we figured out who we thought it was, right? And so we told the story to the collector. He said, we got to have proof. Because if we can have proof of who the owner was, the rifle will be more valuable, right? This says, in that text, it says, all the earth is mine, and ye shall be a kingdom of priests and holy nation. So if we can prove through our conduct that we belong to God, we become more valuable as people. Go ahead, you have Mike, go ahead. Oh, you're holding, I thought you had something to say. All right, so now, the next lesson was preparing for the gift. So they're at Mount Sinai and they're given instructions to prepare for the gift. Why is that necessary? Do you need to prepare for a gift? Sometimes?
Yes.
You say yes? Give me an example of how you would prepare for a gift.
It depends on the conditions. You have to meet conditions to get the gift, so you have to meet those conditions, and that's the preparations you have to make.
That's a good example. What else?
I look at it as a woman preparing for a baby. We consider children gifts from God. Okay. So she's preparing, you know.
Okay. So let me, you got one?
Since I have a child, if I have a monetary gift for him, if anybody gives him one, what I do, I have an account, because I know we've given him the money already one time, and it's blown right away, one spot, and then he comes, I need. So we need to prepare for a gift so that we can appreciate it.
Okay, all very good. Let me give you an example, and you tell me. Let's say you bought a new house, and you set up a housewarming event, right? What do you expect to happen at your housewarming event? Gifts, is that correct? What are you doing to get ready for the housewarming event? You're preparing for it, right? You're preparing for the event in which your expectation is you're going to get gifts, right? And so it's funny because you're actually putting something out. You're usually getting food together. You're doing something to prepare, because you're expecting to get some stuff back. So my mother and father, they had some damage that was done to a roof, and it was affecting inside of their house. And so part of the insurance coverage was they would fix the roof, and then they would fix the ceiling, but then they would send a company in to clean up whatever was wrong. So after they do that, I'm calling to check on mom because the work is done. And I call and say, hey, how's everything going? She's all tired and out of breath. She said, I'm worn out. I said, why are you worn out? She said, because I was cleaning up. I said, why are you cleaning up? They send in a company. She said, I didn't want to be embarrassed. I had to clean up before the cleaners got here. Right? Some of y'all saying, yeah, I would have done that too, right? You're even preparing for something that was going to be taken care of. There's something that we have in us that we're preparing for this thing. So if I know I'm going to get a car and somebody's giving it to me as a gift, I'm trying to clean out my garage to prepare to pull the car in. Right? There's preparation. So the Israelites are told, we want you to do certain things. You're going to wash up your clothes. You're going to get ready. We prepare for communion, do we not? Why? Because we want to show it's special. Is that correct? We put effort in it. Have you all been to one of our communions here? Who's been to a communion here? Does it look like we know what we're doing? Does it look like we put some effort into this? Do you think we just threw that together today? We prepared for you because this is the symbolic event to show the gift that Christ gave us. Look, let's cover this last thing. So, why is the law of God a gift? It says the gift that he gave us was the 10 Commandments. Is that really a gift? A bunch of rules that tell you can't do this, you can't do that. Is that a gift? Who would say that's a gift? Give her a microphone. Why is that a gift?
Because it's telling you what to do and what not to do, and it's keeping me safe. It's a gift.
So you're saying the information itself is a gift because it tells you what to do?
Yes. Yeah, that's a good one.
What you got?
Still says about our backyard, how when we were living in South Carolina and we had a fence, and for our children, it seemed as if it was keeping them from fun, running as far as they can. There was something blocking them. But the fence actually kept things out and kept them from something dangerous. That's the same thing like the law of God. It seems like it's keeping us from the fun and from but it's actually keeping us where we need to be so we won't get into danger.
So if you combine those two, go ahead. What you got?
The 10 Commandments are also 10 promises. It promises us, thou shalt not have any other gods before me, and so forth. Thou shalt not have this. These are promises, and all God's promises are enablings.
So is that a promise or more? Well, there is a promise made in that.
It sounds like a command, but the same words are a promise.
So, yeah, I think the promise, because I do agree with you, that it ends in a promise, but is the promise the thou shalt not? It ends
Got
with a
it.
promise.
If it says no other God, then I don't have to worry about somebody taking over my life or something that I'm not supposed to get into if I make God the head of my life and not something else.
So
You won't have any other gods.
what you got?
I was gonna say some of the other stuff deals with conflict amongst people, and kind of creating those expectations is protective of, like don't murder means that I'm safe, and all these other things.
So if we take all this together, and all of these are great points in the collective. So sociologists say that the way that you can tell a government or a nation cares about its people is that it has established rules. Because without rules, your people are unprotected. Think about it. If there was no law, like in some of these time periods that Moses and all those folks, there were some communities that didn't have any laws. So if you went out there and you had a little house, anybody wanted to come take your stuff could. And there ain't no reciprocity. There ain't nobody that's going because you ain't covered under nothing, right? But when you're a part of a collective, a society sets rules to manage and protect its people. So the fact that the society issued rules demonstrates the society cares about its people, right? So if you look at the law of God, and God is the creator and he created us, and he's giving us the instructions of how we need to manage what he gave us dominion over, right? He's giving us information to help us live longer. Like you said, how we can relate to each other better, how we can relate to him better, right? Since he knows how we work, he knows how we operate, he created us, right? So the gift of the law is the law allows us to be covered by him, protected by him, managed in a way where you don't have to worry about somebody stealing your stuff because that would be against the law. You don't have to worry about somebody trying to take your house because that would be against the law. You ain't got to worry about somebody taking your wife because that would be against the law. Plus, Elderman would kill you. So there's things that are built into the law that are God's gift of love towards us. Because he loved us, we have the law. Everybody cool with that? All right. I think there's only one more part, and that's really it, because we already talked about the law as God's promise. I think that's it. So I'll open it up if anybody's got any last thing to say about this, but we pretty much covered most of it. So you get it. The covenant is his gift to us, and it shows his love to us that we have the covenant, and the promises run with the land. As long as the earth exists, we are covered by his covenant and his promises. Is that all right? All right, let's have prayer. Our Father, thank you so much for allowing us the opportunity to go through your word and study your lesson. Please keep us through the rest of this day. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.